Hey, I'm Leaky. This is Gator. He's one of my best and oldest friends. I love him.
Get away from me, Leaky.
Hello and welcome to Lobricks. I am Leaky Trooper, and this is our weekly LEGO Star Wars Hoth MOC video. And we're getting close to the end. Very close. This is mid-July-ish, and we're going to be done at the end of September. But we still got stuff we got to do. Last week, Assistant beautifully crafted the back of the shield generator mountain and built the foundation for what will eventually become the ion cannon. He also horrifically glued down some minifigures, which was a big LEGO no-no. So this week we have to do a couple of things. First and foremost, as several commenters have pointed out, I did not put these footprints down right for the ATSD. He walks in a boopity-doop fashion, not hopping like a rabbit. So these footprints need to be more offset. But the main attraction this week is more speeders. As you can see, we have many speeders. In Echo Base, we have 3 speeders that are just getting ready to take off. We've got this crapper one back here being repaired on. And then of course we have one flying out the door. Then we have 2 flying, about to engage with the walkers. And of course we have Luke's smash speeder with a equally smashed deck. No, deck, no, why? You were so young. And then we have the speeder that is just nuked this down walker here. Actually, just tied a rope around its feet and he fell over. So nuked is probably a little strong word. So, what speeders are left? Well, we have these 2 speeders left. One that is pretty consistent with the other speeders that we have on the board, and one that is a little weird. I'll show you a quick difference between the 2, their set numbers and how they're different. But these 2 speeders are going to be flying out over the MOC. So the first nicer speeder, we wanted to have kind of in symmetrical fashion flying over the backside of the MOC to kind of offset these 3 speeders in the front. So we're going to hang this guy from the ceiling like we did our other ships and the transport that just won't seem to stay flying away from the Star Destroyer. What, are you going to fly into it? What a dumb pilot. So this guy is going to be flying over here and we're going to hang it. The other speeder, we kind of wanted flying out of the base, farther away from these 2 just so they're not all clumped together. So somewhere here-ish. And that one I'm going to try to mount with these same translucent 1x2 round clear pieces. But I'm not terribly crazy of the difference between this speeder and the other ones, but we'll see how it looks. So that's what we're doing today. Don't forget to take a minute to like this video or subscribe so you can see more of this stuff. It'll help us out in the channel, get more subscribers, more viewers, so I don't have to pour a bucket of glue over this Star Destroyer. But anyways, let's get building. Alright, before I get to the cool speeder action, I have to fix something I horribly botched a few weeks ago when I set down the footprints for this ATSD right here. These footprints are right next to each other, which basically means this guy was hopping along like a bunny rabbit, and we don't want that. We want him to be offset. So I am going to kind of go back from here and say how he would have offset walked. So I'm going to keep this one because it's the farthest forward, but now I'm going to have to basically kind of walk back with the footprints. So first and foremost, this one has got to go. This one footprint has to go. And they got pretty long legs, so that's a pretty good stretch of how far apart the legs would be. So it's going to be boop. That might be a little far back. Let's take this off here. And this one. So that might be, let's take off the non-offsetting ones and see how it looks. Oh, there we go. So I don't like how there's only a few footprints. That might be a little too far back. So I think what I'm going to do is move this one forward just a hair, move move this one forward a bit and then put another footprint back here. So let me do that and then we'll take a look and see if it looks a little better. All right, so there we go. The footprints are more offset. I don't think it looks as cool, but it's a lot more accurate. I guess a lot more laws of physics. Now he's not just hopping along like a bunny rabbit, he's actually walking. I did leave the ATST and the footprints even right here because he's stopping, so he really can hone in and just blast the crap out of these guys because he's so close to the front line. So he can pick and choose who he's going to horribly murder, so these guys will not return to their families. Thanks a lot, you Empire jerk. And now that that's done, it looks good, a lot more accurate to the scene. Very similar to the big AT-ATs. This walker walks differently, so his footprints should be different. So thanks for the commenters for noticing that. And to show you, we listen and we fix. So now on to the main attraction, which means it is speeder time. So first things first, let's talk about the two different speeders that we're going to put on the board today, the sets they come from, and why we chose to put what I consider a crapper speeder instead of just another one of these cooler, newer speeders. So I'm not going to compare all of the different LEGO snow speeders throughout time, but if you're so interested, Bricks Planet has a video that compares every snow speeder from 1999 to 2020, including the two primary ones that I put on the MOC. And the two speeders that I used were from sets 8089 and 7509. And for those of you not familiar with those sets, 8089 was from the Wampa Attack set. That's where that snow speeder came from. And then 75049 was from just a plain old snow speeder set that also came with a little side gun and a couple of snow troopers. So of the two, the one I have the most of, and the one that I really like, is snow speeder from set 75049, the 2014 snow speeder. I just think it looks a little better than the 8089 version, the Wampa Attack version. So the majority of them I have are 75049. However, today I am adding, in addition to a 75049 snow speeder, I do have one LEGO 8089 that I also want to have flying over the MOC. So both of them are going up. So now that you know which snow speeders we're putting on the MOC, we're going to jump to something that we normally do at the end of the video, which is put the minifigures down. And the reason is because these pilots here have to be put into the speeders before we hang them up. It's a big pain after. And you'll definitely notice there's some dupes among these pilots, unlike Wedge and Jansen, which we already have hanging on the MOC, and of course poor Dak. These minifigures are basically just Luke and Blue Hat. And the reason is that, we have these guys laying around. You're really not going to see the pilots in these extra snow speeders. So we are cheating a little. At some point, it would be cool to have an entire squadron of Rebel pilots, Rebel snow speeder pilots with different helmets and all of that. But for today, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and put these pilots in the respective speeders. So for this one, I'm going to, just to mix it up a little bit, I'm going to have the blue helmeted pilot in the front and the red helmeted Luke pilot in the back, if they'll fit in this old crapper speeder, which hopefully they do. All right, there we go. They're still kind of really wedged in there, no pun intended. All right, and then on the second speeder, we're going to have two clones of Luke, just Luke 1 and Luke 2, or I guess we'll call them red helmet pilots. This one does have a little more space, so we can fit the pilots in a little better, hence why I like this one better. And there we go. There are 4 minifigures that we're putting on the board. So let's now go ahead and mount these speeders out on the MOC, starting with, I'm going to call this the old crapper, or 8089 Wampa Attack Speeder. Alright, so this first speeder is going to be ground mounted using some 2x2 round translucent pieces, and then towards the base some 2x2 white pieces just so it blends into the snow a little better. And I am going to put this right here. And this is about the right height I want, because this one is going to be lower than the other speeder, slightly lower. And before I mount the speeder on here, I'm going to show you the technique I used to mount these previously two speeders and how this is going to be slightly different. All right, in order to get this tilted angle, I needed to mount some hinge pieces underneath so I could have this speeder angle. And all I did, I used two 2x2 hook pieces. And that way, mounted underneath, I can have it swing way down, flying almost on an angle, or flying on a slight angle, just so they're not completely straight up and down. Wanted to make them a little more interesting in tilting, kind of some swooshability. But one thing is, these are both flying straight. So what if I wanted to have one flying on an angle? Okay, for this one, I still mounted the little angled piece so I can angle this speeder. But for one thing, I want it to angle in the opposite direction. So those two are angling to the left. This one, I want angling to the right. So if you look at them straight on, you'll see what I mean. These guys angling this way, that one's angling that way. But there's another thing I wanted to do to make this speeder flying differently than these two speeders. And if you'll notice, they're all flying straight at the walkers, straight at them. I want this one to fly in an angle, and I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to do that. Okay, so the key piece, as I said before, that allows these guys to swivel are these hooks underneath. But the problem is, you have to mount them straight onto these translucent blocks. So you really can't have the speeder turning. So I need to add a piece that allows me to swivel this hinge piece here. So a very simple method is this piece right here. So now let's mount the speeder on it, and I'll show you how I swivel. All right, so now I can swivel him facing a slightly different direction than the other speeders. So he's facing at a slightly curved angle, heading towards this ATST, and he's tilted to the right. Those two speeders are straight on, facing the walkers, tilting to the left. So let's look at it from the front. So there you go. So I think it's a lot more interesting having the speeders facing different angles. Just like this speeder is shooting down at the walker, this one is flying towards the battle, slightly towards the ATST. These two are flying right at the back two walkers. You have the brand new speeder entering the fray, flying also straight on. So I think that looks pretty damn cool, but we have one more speeder to set down. And I totally just lied to you, because this guy is not going to be set down. He's going to be flying over the back of the fighting, right about here. All right, guys, so let's hang this puppy up. All right, so there is the final flying speeder. Hung, no problems, no problems. So let's fly around real quick and see all of these speeders buzzing around. All right, well, that is pretty cool. And I think that is just about going to do it for all the speeders that we have flying around. Man, we keep checking all the boxes. So that is going to do it for the build portion of this video. And I know we already put the minifigures down, so we got to finish off the video with something. So we're going to show you once again the trailers for the upcoming MOCS. Because remember, Hoth at the end of September will be done. And we're going to have a big cinematic finale at the end of September for Hoth. But we got 2 more MOCS coming up in the future. Let's see a quick trailer for both of them. First Death Star, disposable friend. Second Death Star. All right, guys, well, that is going to do it for this video. We got the ATST footprints sorted out. We have 2 new speeders flying over the board. All is well on Hoth. So thanks again, guys, for watching. If you like this, make sure you subscribe. Join us here each and every week, each and every Friday. I am Leaky Trooper. We'll see you in the next one. I'm out of here, and bye.